Hey, I'm trying to live until I die. Come connect, you know it's a lewd state of mind. Yeah, yeah, talking traveling. If you wanna fly, fitness and finance, living a better life, keep it raw, no filter, living with no limit. Thank you for tuning in. Come on, let's get it.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
G'day, how are you? I'm good.
Welcome to Lured State of Mind. Thank you for coming down. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure being here.
Do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners and our viewers?
I'm Paul, or Paulie, and I'm been living in Mornington Peninsula, Frankston, for the last 18 years, working as massage therapist, strength and conditioning coach, and all other things that I could dig my grubby little fingers into.
So where'd you grow up?
I was born in Newcastle in New South Wales. My parents were 10-pound poms. They come out here in the late 50s, had me in the 63, and we moved around New South Wales and Adelaide, and then they decided to take me back to England to, I would say, spend a bit of time over in the old country.
Bit of culture?
Yeah, culture shock is what I would call it.
How old were you when you went back?
Well, it was the first time I'd been there. I was born here, so it was a massive shock. Coming from, say, Adelaide, you know, playing cricket, soccer, sport, beach life, beach culture, sun, northern England, fucking hard winter, shit food, poor culture, angry racial violence. It was rubbish.
Why'd they do that? Have they ever explained it to?
Well,
so how old were you?
I was 9, and then I was 9 years old. So I hit, and then I went to high school. I did a little bit of the last bit of primary, and then went to high school. Another massive culture shock. So look, they wanted to go back. They wanted to touch back with the old country and family, and a few sick family members,
Yep.
and then. They'd done 16 years here, and a lot of those migrants, they thought it was good here, but then they were unsure if it was better back there after, the 60s. And when they got back there, it was just as bad. And
they realised it was just as shitty.
Yeah, but they did their time, and then they got back on, and they came back out here, and they lived their life out here, which was good. Yeah, it was good.
Well, it's a good story to start
off
with, isn't it? Hey, well, look, I've got something from that region of the world too. It's called Buckfast. Have you heard about Buckfast?
I haven't, but it looks impressive already.
Now, you're a teetotaler, is that correct?
No, I've been known to drink, but
Yeah.
my body's a temple, and that looks like a healthy drop. So
it's made by monks. So Buckfast.
Oh well, there we go.
It's a tonic wine. It's from our sponsors. Rob and Joe at Chapel Street Cellars. Do you know Chapel Street Cellars at all? Are you familiar with the area? Yeah, it's the
I know
top
Paran
end of
and
Chapel.
Chapel Street. I haven't been to that venue or that brewery, but I guess I'm on my way now.
Well, we've already converted a few of our guests.
Yeah.
That's not our job. It's just purely just to enjoy these things in life.
So you said it's a tonic.
It's a tonic wine.
It's medicine.
Let's say it's that. It's a tonic wine. It's got a lot of caffeine in it. It's 14%. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Once again, thank you very much. Cheers to Rob and Joe. It's got a
smell. It's beautiful.
There you go.
That's quite smooth.
It's very smooth.
It's really nice.
It's not obtrusive at all. I call it my speaking juice, so it'll sit there.
That's very nice.
And help me get through. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'll give you a bottle on the way out. How's that?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
So the son of 10-pound poms. Have you got siblings, brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got. I was the youngest of 5 twins, boy and a girl. At the top, there was 13 years between that, and then
that's a long time, isn't it?
Between me and them. Yeah, well, they had a lot of shit going on, before they could finish the mission, which was me.
Were they doing anything specific with you? Were they wanting another boy, wanting another girl? Were they just wanting to just get a nice round number?
Well, I think I was a little surprised, but they were obviously clearly overjoyed when I arrived, and quite frankly, I couldn't expect anything less. So
you got to take your hats off to them. Like I'm from a family of six. I've got three siblings, so four children. My parents worked to basically feed us and to clothe us and to put a roof over our heads. And I take my hat off to them because I could not do that in this day and age. And there's a lot of couples that just have one child and that's it. That's all they're going to do because they can't afford to have any more.
No.
And to have 4 kids, man,
it is hard. And in them days, they're so strong. It was one that, my dad or your dad, I don't know, one person went out and worked. So it was one income. And then, the rest of it was, looking after the kids and the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, or whatever, and we all chipped in on that. But I've got one son, and the washing machine never stops. He's got more changes than an Elvis floor show. And I don't know how my mother did it with us. And we all played sport. We all went to school. We had so much. The sock level would have been huge.
I know, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Phenomenal.
Does your son have one of those magic baskets that sit in the corner of the room where he puts his clothes in and then they magically reappear on his bed the next day?
Yeah, there's fairies in our house.
You must have you married?
Yeah, we've been married for a long time.
A long time?
A long time.
What's a long time for you?
Wow, there's a story in itself. But a long time. We've been married, 15 years, but we've been together probably 38.
Oh, so you're one of those guys?
We're one of those couples.
One of those couples, yeah.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Well, no, it isn't broke. We've had world wars, but we've sorted shit out as though everybody should and has done over the time. Yeah. But we met as young people, 19, 20-year-olds, and we just gelled, we just connected, and we just done things together. And we've had, I think one of the things we've always done is had, for a while there, had holidays apart as well as had time together. Yep. So we always did other things, and we've always had our other little bits on the side as well as having a kind of family, unity. So
what's a good formula? It seems to have worked.
It worked.
Yeah. When I was saying about one of those couples is that you've spent a lot of time together before you actually got married, because the ceremony or the process of marriage was not that important to you. It was obviously about the relationship. It's just it is just a couple of rings and it's a certificate. It doesn't change a lot.
No.
And it's funny, if you look at youth today and you look at the stats of divorce, it is so easy for people to just hold their hand up and go, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah, 100%.
And give up on a commitment and obviously in today's age with all this instant gratification, people they're not investing in their relationships. I mean, hey, maybe I'm just an old man just talking out my ass.
No, I think you're right, you're spot on. We'd done a lot of stuff and we were always doing stuff, and maybe if we weren't, may have got married earlier, but you're right, it is. The I-do's are a part of it, and it's a ceremonial thing. But I think after you've been together a few years, you got a vibe on each other. You're already got a commitment. You got a vibe together, and you're kind of doing your thing, and there's trust, and you kind of, you know what I'm saying. Well,
you've got a good foundation.
Yeah, you have, and you're traveling. We travelled a little bit, and we lived. We got away from the families and we kind of lived, and we grew up together, I guess, I think when you get away from your parents and your siblings, you kind of have to grow up and stand up a bit. And it's good if you've got a partner, of whoever you partner with, to take that burden as well, so you're not on your own, and then you kind of stick it out a bit.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to be alone in this world, do they?
Well, we want lonely moments. We like time, I guess. But look, the journey in this life is probably better when you share it.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, I've been places and sat watching sunsets and haven't shared them with anybody, and it's like, well, what's the fucking point? Yeah. What is
Instagram? Then you can share it.
Well, no,
you want that moment, don't you? So
I want it. That's the thing, is I want to share it with somebody. And so we talked about travel. You talked about travel. How important is travel to you? personally and with your wife?
Yeah, look, personally, I mean, travel's great. It's a learning experience of absorbing culture and food and music and other aspects of this wonderful world, but to share it with someone else and to get some biofeedback with someone else, good, bad, or whatever. It's great. You can kind of grow a little bit every time you do a little traveling, whether it's outside of where you live, even in Victoria, or farther afield, interstate or overseas. I did it obviously when we went back to England. I had a grounding of travel and the sense of travel when I was younger, and then coming back and yourself. I mean, you've travelled. You've come over the big drink, as they say, to here.
That's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Had you travelled before you got here? Or?
Well, I always say the best thing I ever did was leave New Zealand. Now, it took me 32 years to get out of the joint.
Wow.
But since then, my travel itinerary has just been continuous and constant and always evolving. I did a lot of travel. Well, sorry, I did a bit of travel prior to leaving, but it wasn't to the point of what I do now.
Yeah, right.
I often say that if I was still in New Zealand, I would just be this ignorant, angry little man. And I'm a big advocate for anybody to travel and to learn and to absorb, and that's what I'm doing with my son now. Is trying to introduce him and get him out of a comfort zone that he think he might not be in. Once you step on a plane and you step off into another country and they don't speak English and they've got different ways of doing things, you're learning. You're constantly learning and evolving as a human being. And
100%.
Exactly. My point is that if you're not evolving, what's the point of even waking up in the morning?
It's strange.
So
strange that some don't.
Yeah.
In the north of England, there's people there that when I was there hadn't left the town.
Same thing in NZ. Same thing with some friends friends back then. I
found that weird.
Yeah, it's foreign to us, but it's comfortable to them, and that's the thing is, you want to hope that maybe they would see the light at some point, but sometimes you're never going to change somebody, and that's how they want to exist.
I guess culturally that's their thing, their village and their community. They're solid, and that's their comfort, and maybe that's all they need in life. So I need more.
Oh yeah. You're the same as me. I'm always looking, wanting. So what about your son? Your son's a traveller? Have you pushed him off?
Starting. It was hard because, he missed an awful opportunity. We took him to Vietnam just before COVID. That was his big overseas adventure, and he had a birthday there, which was great. And then what happened? COVID. That was awful. He lost a lot of social, I guess, interactions and experiences of travelling and things like that. I mean, obviously schoolies and things like that, which they couldn't do.
Oh, because he would have been of the age of just leaving.
Just leaving. It was that thing,
that's shitty.
It was hard. So he's gearing up now. He's working and he's saving and he's getting ready to go. But he's exploring festivals and music now, and I think he's getting ready to roll. And I want him to get out and explore. When I was his age and when I met his mother, the first thing we did together was buy a combi. That was it. We're off.
Unbelievable.
Gone. And everything we owned was in the combi, and there was still space in there, including a mattress. And now, obviously, we need bigger space, 10 combis to put our shit
that was the big Kiwi OE, was to go to the UK. I didn't do it. I left school and worked, and then I started the business when all my friends were leaving school, going to university, or doing a gap year in the UK.
Yeah, right.
And it's for Kiwis, it's a rite of passage.
Is that's
part of
schoolies? The UK is their schoolies.
No, it's basically them leaving New Zealand, leaving the nest and going out into the big world, and UK was just the place to go to. And you went over there, you worked, you travelled, you got a combi, and you just lived life and figured out what more was on offer than just doing what you were doing back in NZ.
Yeah,
And
right.
as I said, that was just part of the culture when I grew up. It's still there now, but I think there's more emphasis on getting good education,
Yeah.
so that you can get to the top of the tree. Whereas with my son Mav, it's okay. You've got university as an option, but we'd probably want to see you go travel. You know,
There's a lot of learning in travel, and uni's great, but there's a lot of learning. So, with you, did you find you being more mature? Was that a better experience for you? I'm just caught up here.
No, you're right.
So, being mature when you did travel, was that a positive thing for you?
Definitely, yeah. I think it was, and the curiosity of, I'm one of these travellers that, as we talked about earlier, about my wife will research the shit out of somewhere before we actually get there. That's not how I travel. I like to experience and be immersed in what's happening then and now.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to go around a corner and go, oh, I saw that on Google. I want to go around a corner and go, hey man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to go down a back alley and look for a restaurant that the locals go to, not the tourists go to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started doing my travelling late. The good thing about that was I had a little bit more budget under my belt. I didn't have to rough it so much.
Yeah.
I didn't have to scrimp and save and go in hostels. Although maybe I did miss something in that experience by not. But I had a better opportunity to have a better quality of travel. But I never missed an opportunity.
Yeah, right.
And that just set me up for where I am now, and the mindset of like, you only live once. This is not a run through. This is not a practice.
Nah, this is it. This
is
the
it,
moment.
man.
Right now's the moment. Every day you get up is that moment.
Exactly.
Living it.
Exactly. Hey, look, I've got a list here of some qualifications.
Oh God.
So musician, composer, producer, and masseuse. Does that sum you up? Is there something else you want to add to? Oh, we've got cyclist and mountain biker.
Cyclist, mountain biker.
Yeah.
All right. Cremator.
Cremator.
Yeah, that fucked you up, didn't it?
You just took a dark turn, mate. A really dark. I'm going to need a drink. Hold on.
Have a little drink on that.
I'm going to wash that out of my mouth.
Yeah. All right.
Cremator.
Yes, I've been a cremator, grave digger, and a funeral director assistant. Yeah. So, and that was probably
Dark time of your life.
One of the most rewarding jobs and opportunities I've ever experienced. Take it away by far, 100%.
Perspective. It's given you perspective.
100%. And you talk about travel, and we're living in the moment. That is it. We live in the moment. So the end is the end for me. So yeah, and it was a great opportunity to experience that world, that end of life stage world for families, and the role that I played, which was a short period of time, which was very good.
Did you find it comforting doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
Knowing what you're not religious. You're not a religious man.
No.
When it's over, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
The lights are out.
Gone.
That's it.
Finished. And I think religion brings a lot of peace to people's mindset, and I'm not here to convert anyone to my ways. Everyone can have their own views, but yeah, for me personally, it's there, it's done, it's game, lights out.
Or you think what religion does for people, it gives them comfort.
It does. It helps community as well, and the nurturing side. I understand the benefits of that. So. Look, I may be proven wrong and down the road.
Well, you're going to find out one way or another, aren't you?
We will all find out. So, but that was my little piece. So,
wow, what sort of a period of your life was that? What sort of, how long are we talking when you did the grave digger?
Well, I guess it was.
Did you flick the switch on the big flame flyer, like the box burner?
We're not allowed to give details. Those in the cremation world keep the secrets to themselves. But yes, we did that role right to the end.
Yeah.
To when you get you earn back with the ashes. Yeah.
You know what's going to happen when they're finished with me, eh? They're going to give a box of metal parts to my wife because of all the shit that's in my system.
Well, that's something we do take out, in the process. And
prior to giving the...
Yeah, I mean, you get we end up with a big, 240-litre bin at the end of every week or something.
Oh, well, hold on a sec. Is this after every cremation or after...
Yeah, if you got bits.
Yeah?
They come out. They come out just the way they went in as well.
So my artificial hip's going to look pristine once it's been...
Yeah, all the
once
wiring,
everything else is...
stuff, everything comes...
Wow.
Yeah, it all comes out.
Something for my wife to look forward to.
She could make some jewellery. Have a little bit of you around her the whole time.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I can tell you that much. She'll use the money from my inheritance and go buy something really nice. Okay. Buy some diamonds, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope she does.
Yeah, 100%.
I hope she does when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe you can have a new motorbike or something.
and then get another hip later on.
Whatever you want. Yeah, you'll probably get bad hips from your dad anyway, so you got that to look forward to anyway. It's sad for a 14-year-old kid, isn't it, to burden that?
Oh yeah. So massage. I've worked 20 years now doing that. Been an amazing journey having...
How did that start, if you don't mind me? How did that start? That journey.
That journey.
What got you onto...
Well, I think when I was 18, 19, and we flew back into Adelaide from the shit show that is the UK. That's my take on it. It was good. I said I need to do a couple of things. I need to learn an instrument, play music, and I want to be an athlete. And I was already training, doing runs and riding and hitting the gym, and I'm just learning and learning how to be fit and healthy and how to eat right.
How old were we talking?
18, 19.
Yep, good.
So yeah,
good start.
Great start. And my brothers were all very good soccer, cricket, runners, but I didn't want to play that sport. Those team sports. I wanted to be a runner. So I did. We landed in Adelaide, and I went to a place called the Glenelg Football Club. I was just walking around, and I didn't know where I was. And that was, and in the Glenelg Football Club, if you know Adelaide anywhere, it's on
I know Glenelg. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got the SANFL Football Club, and underneath there they had a little private gym that used to work with the football club.
Yep.
And I got to know the owner, and he said, come to the training tonight and have a run. So I hung around the beach, had a swim, went back, had a run. He said, I think we could train you to be a runner. I said, no worries. I said, I got no job. He said, all right, well, then we'll put you in the gym. You can clean the toilets and clean the equipment, blah, blah, blah. No worries. And I was lucky enough I started running, and before every sort of training session would all be have a warm up, and they'd rub this oil onto themselves called penetrine and olive oil. It smells like petrol, right? And it wasn't, I think what they used to, I don't know what it was. I've never seen it in years, but it smelled solid, a bit like goanna oil, and it was always hard for the runners or the other athletes to get this penetrine oil on their calves. So I'd be the one doing this shit. I'd rub that in, and then I thought, I might as well have a go at this. But I couldn't find a way to train. There wasn't anything in place them days like there is now with TAFE or Chisholm, and you need to learn how to study anatomy and that. So later on in life, when I was researching to retrain myself, this course came up, and I was in Armidale, New South Wales, and I went, I'll do this course. This is what I want to do. And it's work with athletes. Well, I tick that box.
Perfect.
People, disabilities. I've worked with disabilities. So I did the course. It took 3 years. And after that, we came down here, and I've been working here ever since with some really cool people.
So where from there?
I came here.
Melbourne?
Melbourne,
yep.
Mornington Peninsula. My wife's from Mentone, and so we're local, which is great. And then I picked up a gig at one of the big physio clinics here in Langwarrin, and I got to meet a few really good people. navigated my world with some great athletes, some really good athletes, and I met some really cool people that were struggling disabilities, and I've worked with people with disabilities and high-end athletes and everyone in between since, and I find both of those sort of diverse range of clients very rewarding.
It'd be great on a daily basis to not be doing the same stuff continuously on a day in,
100%.
day out.
Every hour is different. You know, someone walking in and it's a, you know, I'm lucky enough to have known my client base for a long time and gone through a lot of their life as well as they've shared mine, become very close friends. But just to on a treatment plan, to be able to work with people through their daily routines and lives, it's been great. I've learned more just working than I did studying.
Yeah, as you would. It's hands on, and it's not just about being hands on. It's about that interaction with your clients, with your patients.
Yeah.
Do you call them patients or clients?
I call them clients. And yeah, so patients for me are people like you had that great osteo a few weeks ago.
Superman, Chris.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah.
You know, for him, to me, a professional. You know, there'd be patients, doctors, patients, physios. For me, they're my clients. You know, I'm happy in that world. So yeah, a lot of them become friends.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I've been to births, deaths, weddings. I've had everything.
And how many years in total?
20.
20 years.
Yeah, 18 on the peninsula.
Yeah. How do you enjoy the peninsula?
Love it.
Yeah?
I said when I was passing through here, travelling, and coming back here, visiting, I never really connected. And I've never thought I'd live here. But since living here, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. It's an amazing place. It's full of some great people, yourself included.
Oh, thank you very much. No. I'll take that.
Yeah, you can have that.
We've only just met, but
I know,
yeah.
but you're a brother from another mother.
Hopefully I can chuck some more at you as we go on further on. It is from Bayside down. I mean, I got off the boat in Patterson Lakes when I arrived.
Patterson Lakes?
Yep.
How did you get that? There's no ferry there.
No, it's like the 10-pound poms. You got kicked off the boat. There you go. Go find yourself a life.
Yeah, that's the $10 ticket.
Yeah, that's where we landed, Patterson Lakes.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible.
And that's where I met Danny, our good friend from Kennedy's.
Yeah.
And a lot of people. You know, they were some of my first clients in my business, and it's a great. Coming from New Zealand, coming from a bayside town in Hawke's Bay,
yeah, right.
The ocean's always been close, and it was like, if I'm going to come here, I need that. I need the same thing.
You're connected to that water.
I just need that. Yeah, I don't want to be landlocked.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a shitty little suburb somewhere in the middle of nowhere with a train line.
The bay recharges you. You put your feet in it, your hands in it, you feel recharged in some way. Water's amazing like that.
It is. It's a beautiful place. So for anybody listening out there, wherever you're listening, so we're talking in Melbourne, Australia, and we're talking about Bayside and the Mornington Peninsula. Google that shit.
Oh, God.
It's
unbelievable. Want to move here like I did. And you.
Well, I mean, they're allowing that many immigrants in at the moment that you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Free ticket, get in.
Come
here, find a job.
I need more clients. Come here.
So with being a masseuse, what's the main objective of your clients? Is it relaxation, or is it therapy? Is it pain relief, or is it a combination of everything?
Well,
what are they wanting from you every time you see them?
Look, I think a lot of mine are functional. Like if they're disabilities, they need to improve their function in daily life, and I provide a bit of that, a bit of pain relief from that, the connection, getting to know one another and the trust, and just to sort of just get through their week and their day, I think. With athletes, it's you train and work out yourself. You look sensational, by the way.
That's two. Thank you.
Bang. It's about recovery, active recovery, being investing in training, which everyone wants to train hard, but the active recovery processes are very, very important to maximise what you've been putting into you.
Yep.
into your efforts to be able to lift yourself up to the next training block. And if you're competitive, if you got that goal, you've got to throw yourself into an active recovery process, be an ice baths, saunas, good quality food, nutrition, sleep, deep soft tissue massage, remove metabolic waste, all those things that you'll probably be aware of.
So basically, from an athlete's point of view, you're quintessential as part of their game plan as such. As you say, nutrition, recovery.
100%. Yeah. And good athletes, or they already know that. And when I take on young athletes, and I do, my role is to educate them about those processes. If they're like a cyclist or a non-team athlete who don't have a peer group around them and a proactive coach, and they've come to me because they keep cramping or they're sore or they're not getting their gains that we want to work out, then I educate them on those processes and I reinforce that, and I talk about stretching and yoga and all the other elements that's required if you want to set goals and achieve those goals.
An essential part of anybody's program.
Yeah.
I think from my point of view, as I get older, I'm underutilising your services. Now, as you probably would have heard with my physio, I'm seeing him because I've got an active injury.
Yeah.
But I also have all these other complaints which could probably be easily taken care of with a massage. And so what sort of regularity are you seeing these clients/athletes?
Well, I have a whole list of weekly, fortnightly, monthly, 3-monthly. It depends on what individual needs are, and with goals with athletes, if they've got events coming up, if they're in a big training block, or if they're in a pre-season sort of not as active, I don't monetize them. I just, whatever their economic sort of needs are, I work within those sort of constraints, not what would suit me, obviously. And obviously, if they're disability or they got special needs, I work. They tend to develop their own cycle, whatever that cycle is. I tend to just slot in to what they require.
So your calendar's pretty well stacked by the sounds of it.
Pretty busy, yeah. From 7 days a week since for 17 years.
Jesus.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky. I've been lucky that I'm still working with people I met early on, that first 6 months. So
any injuries yourself from being a masseuse? Any RSI? Or?
No, not from being a massage person. No, my injuries have come about from push bikes. So I've made some bad choices at wrong times.
You've always been a cyclist?
50-odd years.
Wow.
Yeah. You must have grown up with a push bike.
Oh, of course we all did.
Well,
I still remember not getting a BMX for Christmas. I've still got those
trauma.
Those fucking scars are deep.
Yeah.
My parents, they knew I wanted a BMX.
Yeah.
And they brought me a bloody Grifter or whatever it was, Summit. It was the worst. Anyway.
I would have destroyed that and gone next.
Yeah, it didn't work that way back then. I think I just modified the shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a learning experience, isn't it? When you can do that.
Well, they were probably building resilience. I didn't even know it.
Yeah, of course.
In their weird way of bringing their children up.
Did you wear a helmet?
Fuck no.
There wasn't
not back then. Not back then. I was always a helmet wearer when I rode motorbikes.
Yeah.
But not push bikes.
Yeah.
Not push bikes. But I obviously understand the importance of wearing a helmet.
We've come a long way. I think mid-80s, I think.
I think New Zealand was one of the first countries to enforce mandatory helmets on push bikes.
Well, you're leaders.
Yeah, we've always been. Yeah, exactly. Which is good. Exactly.
I've banged my head a few times. That's probably why I've had some spectrumy moments in my day. And thank God I had a helmet on. And the last big crash, I had a $20 helmet from Kmart. I was dressed, we were doing a sort of a charity ride, and we were all in costume, and I put a silly helmet on. I came off that day, and it saved my brain that day.
Wow. And that's all it takes is the 20. Hey, I think we've got a photo of you on your push bike here.
Let's have a look.
Now, if you want to pull that photo up of Paul. Yep. Come on, mate. Switch on. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. Thank God for that handlebar flower. Yeah.
That was when you had hair, mate.
I know, and I put on a bit more weight, and I've had my teeth fixed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's me how I roll.
And you've shaved. No, I think we've actually got a photo of you on your push bike. Man, have you got that on your mountain bike? Do you prefer mountain biking to road cycling?
Yeah, I do. I love the comfort of the mountain bike and being in the nature. I think I recharge. I recharge. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's me full race mode.
Wow, where's that? Can you tell me where that is?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly. That's my last Otway Odyssey event.
Where's that?
That's in Forest over in the Otways over towards Apollo Bay.
Oh, right.
So if you go from Colac to Apollo Bay, Forest, that's a town with 2 R's.
Yeah.
That's one of the premier mountain bike locations in Australia. Yeah, that's where that is. And
that competition was, how long was the ride?
That was a 50K that day. I've done the 100. I wouldn't do that again.
Why is that?
That was brutal. That was 8.5 hours on the bike.
Fuck.
That was a lot of pain. I hadn't trained enough, and that was me being stupid.
Aren't we all at some point?
Yeah.
But you just go, hey, the thing is with events like that is that you've got to just do them. You've got to give it a go. And normally it's when you haven't done enough training and then you figure out, all right, I've made the mistakes.
Yeah.
I've done the event. I know what I need to do to redo it, or I'm never going to do it again.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But what the problem with a mountain bike event is, when you recognise you haven't done the amount of training required, there's only one way out. You got to ride out.
And that's the thing.
You got to push yourself out. You've got to get out. You got to. It's then in the brain.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that stuff is 90% mental.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're not going to set yourself up to spend 8 hours on the bike if you're overweight or you haven't ridden in a couple of years.
No.
But just the mental side of things is going to carry you through when the body can't, and sometimes that's all you've got.
I know, and that's the good thing with sport. The way it does help you push beyond your physical limitations, and it builds your resilience. That you start to develop, a bigger you.
Yeah.
You can become Superman or an osteo.
Well, any child, any young person should be put into those situations where they're out of their comfort zone and they need to extend themselves mentally to go, right, I've got to push through. And even if it's a walking event, if it's a climb, it's one foot in front of the other.
Exactly, yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's back to basics.
It is, and that helps you, navigate through work and life and and relationships.
Yeah.
We talked about that in the start. That's that resilience and that, that compromise that you've got to kind of work it out. How am I going to get out of this situation, or how am I going to push through to get out of this situation? And what can I do to not be in this situation again?
Don't just hold your hand up and fucking give up.
Don't give up. No, you don't learn from giving up. Look, if there's a physical situation that requires giving up, which is what I had to do, you got to confront that, but orthopedically you get repaired, and then bang, you get back again.
Yeah, exactly. You get back on the bike as such.
That's exactly right.
We love mountain biking. It's why I asked you about road cycling. I've been a road cyclist.
Yeah, right.
In my youth, I understand the dangers associated with it.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking on your Facebook page, and there was a good friend of yours, Graham. Do you want to tell me the story about Graham? Would you mind?
Which Graham and what story?
You've got a few Grahams with a few stories.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Graham was riding with you, and he got hit by a car. He got hit by a car with a lady that was on her cell phone. Is this? Are we talking about this? Are we talking about the same?
No.
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 Do you like petitions?
Do
you like petition? Do you like you're a petition guy, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you remember this?
Oh no! Hang on a minute.
You don't remember this?
Nah. That's that spectrum-y thing with my brain.
Okay, that's fine. We are talking about the same person.
Yeah, I don't really know. I need to see his last name.
Okay, so can you just blow that up for me, Mav, so I can read it? So you started a position that says Google on Air, stop road deaths and injury from mobile phones.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just read that, Mav? You can just scroll it down. So pictured as my cycling teammate Graham. He was a paramedic and a cyclist. A team would go cycling every Sunday. Recently, that all changed forever. On one of those cycle trips, a driver became distracted using her mobile. Graham was far left in the shoulder as he could safely be, but a four-wheel drive catapulted him off his bike from behind, almost killing him. Graham is now a lifelong paraplegic.
Yeah, I do know a little. I'm coming back to this.
Yeah?
If you go back to the mountain bike picture of me, this is a little bit of politicizing. On my two arms, there's a white bike, and you'll see the words White Bike Foundation. And
Yep.
on my shirt, the big white bike.
Yep.
That's a group that was started by some friends of mine when one of the young boys on the peninsula was killed. Obviously, the white bike, when you see him up against the road, that represents a dead cyclist. And
Yep.
so trying to educate people about mobile phone usage when you're driving and distractions, this all comes together in that education and teaching children at the school level about safe cycling and an awareness on the roads. You know, when you're a child, we probably had less awareness, but we survived that, luckily. And so, yeah, look, mobile phone usage and distractions, they create chaos and trauma, and we need to try and keep reinforcing an education to not driving with that sort of mentality. Yeah, I remember that post now.
Yeah?
Yeah. But, you know, we've had a lot of, on the peninsula, we've had a lot of road trauma. I don't ride on the road at the moment because there's a lot of anger, and we're still trying to educate people.
There's a lot of anger in the cycling community
in the driving. I think since post-COVID, we've come out of it, and there's a lot of frustrations, and we noticed that with the cyclists, there's a lot of near misses, a lot of road rage towards cyclists. This is a true thing that's happening, and there's been a lot of trauma. We've had a lot of, orthopedic repair work done from cars and hitting cyclists, and even now there's there's at least one a week that's getting either critically or killed on the roads here in Australia, which is not really,
it's a terrible stat.
When you're only trying to commute or exercise, and the roads are there to be shared, we want to just sort of be part of the whole community. And there's a lot of kind of anger.
There's definitely a divide between the two camps.
And there shouldn't be. And I thought when COVID came along and a lot of non-cyclists bought bikes so they could do their little exercise, I thought that'd be a great opportunity to teach them what it's like out there. That when your mirror in your car touches the cyclist's elbow, that's a scary moment.
Oh, for sure.
That's a scary thing. And that's happened to most people I know. There wouldn't be many that it hasn't happened to.
It's funny because as a cyclist and as a motorist, I see cyclists acting not in their own best interest
All the time.
and
We have to educate them.
I can't understand what they're thinking. Now, if that's me, if it's a bike lane, I'm not on the right-hand side by the white line of the bike lane, taking as much room as I can. I'm over left as far as I can to give everybody enough space. So when I see somebody right over on the other side, I go, what's going through your head?
Yeah.
Is there something that you know that I don't know, or is there some sort of complex that is ultimately going to get you killed?
It's weird. I think when anybody, whatever road user you are, you've got to be switched on, whether you're a cyclist or the e-scooters or the car driver or the truck driver. We just all got to be sharing this space, but be switched on when you get on your mode of transport, or you're crossing the road at a pedestrian light and you're looking at your phone.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot. You just, come on, just be switched on for just a few minutes.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Once again, it's just about education, isn't it?
100%.
You don't know until you know, and there's a lot of people making these little mistakes.
Yeah, lots of little mistakes that we get away with until that one moment.
And then it's a fatality.
It's a life-changing experience for more than one person.
Yeah.
The driver, the family,
Yeah.
you know, the whatever.
Another statistic.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Buckfast. What is Buckfast, you ask? Well, let me tell you. It's better known as Bucky, and it's an internationally enjoyed, unique tasting tonic wine. It's equally rich in heritage as it is in taste. It packs a punch from 15% alcohol and about the same amount of caffeine as a well-known drink that gives you wings. Buckfast's enjoyment is only rivaled by its versatility from the cooking pot to the wine or cocktail glass. Drink it straight, mix it in a Negroni, or use it as a marinade. Available Australia-wide and distributed by Beeblebrox Beverages. Visit beeblebrox.com.au to find your closest stockist and buckfast.com for cocktail and recipe ideas. Music.
Yeah, my favourite topic in life.
The one thing I regret as a human is not learning how to play an instrument.
It's never too late.
Yeah, I've got like a zero attention span.
Yeah. You need short songs.
All right. What are you suggesting? Mev's been learning the guitar. He's amazing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm very, very envious. What instrument do you play?
I play a lot, really bad, but I'm
a good
self-taught. Yeah, I know. When I wanted to, like when I was in England, and when you're like 13, I don't know if it's the same in New Zealand, but yeah, you do this. But that last couple of years you get to elect a couple of subjects, and my mum said, parent teacher, what do you want? I said, well, I want to learn how to cook and I want to learn an instrument. She come back from that night. She said, bad news. I said, what? They said, you're too old to learn an instrument and they don't want you to cook.
Really?
Yeah.
They knew that you were a bad seed right from the outset.
Exactly. So, I turned on, I said, no worries, I'll sort this out. Don't worry. So I played up until they asked me to leave when I was 15, which was a good thing because I needed more positive role models in my life than the education system in the UK. So when I got to Adelaide a few years later, I worked hard. I bought some cheap instruments and I just sat, plugged away, and I taught myself from. You remember the singles? I had a box full of singles, and I just tried. And I bought a book and some chords, and I learned 2 chords. G and A, which are great, and I went to Rundle Mall and I busked, and still am the worst busker in the history of the world.
Wow, you've got an award for that?
I gave myself that award. If I had to eat from busking, I'd be starving.
Well, I was just going to say, let's go back. Did you learn how to cook?
Yes.
Because it was cooking or music?
Yes, I have. I've learned how to cook through trial and error over the years. And I think it was disgraceful that they expected guys to hook up with someone very quick and get them to cook for them for the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah.
In them days, that was how it was. And, whatever. Anyway, I just did my own thing. I learned how to cook. Traveling, that teaches you food, culture, taste, spices, and I took that on board. I learned how to cook.
That's good. My mother, God bless her, taught me how to cook and how to sew.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really good.
I know.
Skills.
I know.
You need them for life.
It's funny. I was telling my son the other day that I used to make clothes for my G.I. Joe figurines.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I had a G.I. Joe.
Man, I had the whole set. He had
Incredible.
the vehicles and the tents and the
Really?
helicopters. Oh, mate, G.I. Joe, he was my world.
He was
my
great.
world.
Then wasn't there one with the beard?
Oh, he was a bad guy, wasn't he?
I think I shaved the
villain?
beard off. I thought, fuck it. Off that comes. Right. I don't have much hair. I thought, fuck it, I'm angry at you.
You renegade.
Yeah,
You renegade.
yeah.
Hey, you said 15, you left at 15. Is that, did you leave school at 15 or you left the UK at 15? No,
I left the school. I had an opportunity to come out before school finished to go to Alice Springs to play soccer with my brothers who were playing and making a killing up there at the time, and they won the grand final. And I went to the school, their principal. I said, look, I got an opportunity to fucking go back to Alice Springs for 6 months, or I can stay here, and it's going to be a nightmare for us. And the principal said, I think it'd be in everyone's interest if you left. And I went, thank you very much.
Wow.
And I went home to Mum. I said, book the tickets. And my brother worked for Ansett at the time, and we got like really cheap tickets.
Awesome.
So we went up to Alice Springs for the winter.
That's why Ansett folded. You
Yeah, because of me. all the staff were milking the tickets for family, right? And it wasn't just for the employees; they got them for everyone. But we had a great trip, and I played soccer for the winter up at the Verdi Club in Alice Springs, and then we went back after that, and then I did a little apprenticeship. 2 years building truck bodies for bread vans and shit like that.
But you've always been a musician.
Yeah, I have. I had music in me. I just didn't know how to get it out of me. And I believe you yourself, everyone has the ability to be creative in some way. And for me, it's the music or photography, street art. I love street art. And to blend those artistic sort of projects together. And so I learned how to play a couple of chords. I learned how to put it out there in the street in Adelaide. And then after Adelaide, I bailed out of Adelaide, went to Sydney for 8 or 9 years and just played in bands, recorded and toured with a few little bands, and got to learn how to record in a recording studio up at Trafalgar Studios and a few other places around town in Sydney, and work with some really cool producers. And learn off some of them producers on how to put music together, not how to work the desk and the equipment, but how to create and to use an engineer and the equipment that he's got as a toolbox to formulate sounds and songs or tracks, because music to me is about sounds and soundtracks rather than the song or the lyrical content. I'm very minimal on that.
I noticed that in some of the stuff that you sent through to me.
I've done a lot of instrumentals. There's probably half of the songs I released in the last 2 years have been instrumentals, because I like that soundtrack mindset. So
that stuff that you're doing now, that's all up and above what you do on a daily basis as a masseuse.
Yeah,
is it something that you want to do on a full-time basis? Is there a future in what you're wanting to do?
No, I think it's a passion. I think in Sydney when I was working, and when I was in Sydney, I was always running and riding and training as well as working. I always was. Music and fitness have been part of my life and culture from a very early age. So I was able to blend them both together. And I did do music properly, in my sense, 7 or 8 years. I was working in rehearsal studios as well as playing in 3 bands at once and gigging and just writing. And music in Sydney in them days in Ultimo was a very incestuous thing. Like, we all knew each other, we all played in different bands with each other, we all wrote songs. And so coming out of COVID, I wanted to bring some of that back. Or in COVID, when I created the project that is now existing, the Lost Dogs of Ultimo, to bring some of those musicians who had gone to other parts of the country together to start collaborating and being creative again. And that's what I do. I'm kind of I'm the captain of the ship, and I get a lot of other people on board to have roles in this sort of musical journey.
So you've got a lot of artists underneath you or around you?
Around me, I have. I've had a few from the Sydney days that have come on board and recorded and released some of the songs, and some couple of really new ones I've met going out here in Melbourne and sort of seen them play and chat. Because I'll go up after the gig, I'll help them unload and chat and see where they're at and tell them that they're great and how they touched me, their music or their art, and then you connect, and then we go, should we do something together? And they go, what? And then I'll go, I'll see you on Monday. I'll bring some around and we'll do something and it'll be great. We'll spend an afternoon
Yep.
creating and then I'll upload it and it'll be out there.
Awesome.
Bang, 7 days.
What's the music scene like in Sydney versus Melbourne?
I
there a
think
difference
Melbourne's,
between the two?
yeah, there is. Yeah. I was up in Sydney in June and I've been back a few times. I think Melbourne is the hub of everything. I think it's the centre of my universe. And
Have you been biased? Or
yeah, I am, because I'm part of it. But look, creatively, it's incredible. We've got so many amazing performances and artists, and I've been out. I go out all the time, every week or every 2 weeks, and see something new. And if I love seeing new bands who do their first gigs, do their second gigs, and I love that energy and vibe they bring. And I'm always blown away. I always go home. I say, Lorraine, I said, I've just seen the best band in the world. And she said, you saw that last time? I go,
Well,
they were their best fucking band,
for
right?
a lay person like me, that's not musical, but can hear the difference between shit and not shit.
Yeah.
I'm the same thing. I'll go to a pub and I'll hear something and I go, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is really amazing.
It
and
is.
even at Freddie's the other night, it's one guy with a guitar and one of those little step units with the drums and and he commanded that stage. And you got to take your hats off to guys like that. But I look at those guys and I think that's a lot of time and it's a lot of dedication. Now, that's no different to anybody with their job or their passion, whatever they do.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just with them, you see the end result is a performance.
It is, yeah.
Whereas with a lot of stuff, you don't see the end result.
No.
You know,
It's the same with the golfer. They spend hours and hours doing 18 holes, 9 holes. They spend hours and then they go and do a little event or comp. But, you know, and they play well. They spend hours doing that. And
Are you a
working
golfer?
away. No.
You know, it's the best way to spoil a walk, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
It's stupid.
No, but they do commit a hell of a lot of finances and time to it.
Yes.
And probably equally, I probably do the same. And people go, why are you spending so much time there when you could be doing other things?
What does your wife think about it?
Well, that's all she's known of me. Like
Is she musically inclined?
Well, she can play a sax and a recorder, and I can't.
A recorder?
Yeah, and I can't. I can't play a recorder. I tried.
Didn't they teach you at school?
No, I was
hey,
too
Mav,
old,
did they
man.
teach you recorder at school?
They did in primary school.
There you go. See, at primary school, I'd missed the boat at primary school. I was 13, too old for recorder.
Three blind mice.
Yeah, I know. So I've always had that journey to do that, and I still am. And it's been a long time. As much as being a bike rider, I just didn't know how to get it out of my system, and I spent probably 40 years now.
Yeah. You were talking about the different projects and the different names of the projects to me previously.
Yeah.
And one of them's an angry side of you.
Yeah, that is an angry side. So that's
Which one was that?
That's the Crush Puppets. So that's kind of when I had the project started, and what happened was I wanted to try something that I wasn't sure had been done before, and that was in 22, release a song a week, every week, 52 songs.
Did you do it?
I did 51. COVID got me.
Oh, fuck.
It fucked me up. I had it, but when I needed to race in to finish mixing, mastering it, I couldn't access the studio. So I was down one song, but it's okay. I've done 60.
That's a good effort. Mav, have you got some Crush Puppet? Crush.
That'd be
Crush Puppets.
There's no video of it. Oh.
You got no video?
Oh, there's one about 13 Bullets as a video.
So just search Crush Puppets here.
Yeah?
The Crush Puppets.
The Crush Puppets.
Give me a sec.
Bit of punk rocker in you, yeah?
Yeah. I'm everything.
Well, you've got a bit of geezer in you, so...
I'm a big geezer.
You're a big geezer.
The Crushed Puppets?
The Crush Puppets.
Yeah, you're on it. That's No Tomorrow. That was the
There you go. Open that up. Play that one. We'll get a little bit of that for our listeners and our viewers. No lyrics?
There's lyrics.
Oh, there's lyrics.
Yeah, it's a love song.
This one's called No Tomorrow, the Crush Puppets. Trump the Donkey. Who's doing the lyrics?
Oh, a little bit of me and a little bit of T-Pag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about T-Pack, is it?
Yeah. I'll get his name wrong, and he's going to punch me. Tommy Paganini, T-Pag. I thought his name...
T-Pag.
I thought it was T-Bag for 2
Oh,
years.
You don't want to be calling somebody T-Bag when they haven't earned the right.
I didn't know, right? I got one ear bad, right?
Oh,
Bass players.
You got one, but so because you're a bass player, aren't you? You're not a guitar.
Well, I am.
So you can play guitar.
Yeah.
But you're a bass
Player.
in bands.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, the difference is
Strings.
the instrument. isn't it?
Yeah. The bass player's the king of the band, and the guitarist, he gets the glory.
Oh, right.
But what I've done,
You're just at the back.
I'm
just
at the back.
Looking at
I'm
the
lugging
chicks,
in the big amps.
looking at the chicks in the crowd.
I think what I've been able to do is with a guitar is to be able to access effects in the studio to make it sound like I can play it when I'm really just faking it a lot. So and that's a skill.
So you're faking it until you're making it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
What's your biggest triumph then, musically? What's your biggest triumph?
Oh, the last release with Flip That Groove that came out last week.
Let's get that up, Mav. Flip That Groove. It's in the it's in that Facebook post in the reel.
The reel.
Yeah.
So that's me making soundtracks. You
Is
love
you on that
photo.
bike
I
again?
tell you what, you like me when I've got no gear on. That's me and my boy.
That's going to be the screenshot on the podcast when people are going to
Fantastic.
click on it. It's like,
That's me doing a...
yeah. If you go back to
Oh, there it is.
there
That
you go. That's the one.
Yeah, turn that one up.
Turn the volume up. There you go. So you do all the video work as well too, yeah? Yeah. This is all you.
Faking it.
That's what I do here. It's very psychedelic.
So, well, this is me going into a new genre with Clouty Will, the hip-hop artist from Melbourne I fell upon.
Is it, so there's a specific reason for the psychedelic? Are we looking at the club scene? Are we looking at the...
Well, I wanted to write a song that was going to bring her skill set out.
Yeah? Talk to us about her.
She's wild. I saw her one night performing at Mama Chan's in Footscray. She was opening up for another artist I was filming that night, and she just it was like watching burlesque hip hop. It was insane. It was crazy.
So she was dressed
partially
burlesquely.
But her performance was sensational. Her vocal ability and rapping and hip hop was just, and her beats was incredible. And I just asked if she was spare time next week because I had some studio time, and I had a little track I had an idea on, and she said yeah, and the pleasure was all mine.
Amazing.
And
that's just released last week, yeah?
Yeah. And it's getting spins all over the UK, North America right now.
I see that on your Facebook stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's getting more recognised elsewhere than what it is here.
Australia's not ready for Paulie at the moment. 40 years is not long enough for him to adapt to me. So I'm getting a lot of support overseas. I got a rogue PR company looking after the lost dogs over there. And
nice.
Which is great. America, with the Crush Puppets, they seem to like this No Trump song I've released. Politically, it's quite a,
Can we search that one up?
No,
you don't want to go to the No Trump one or not?
Well,
no?
you can. It's there. It's on the right.
There you go. It's on the right-hand side,
But
apparently.
there's no video to it.
Isn't there?
No.
That's all right. We'll just put some audio up because I'm a big fan of Trump.
You are?
No.
You might not want to hear this.
No. I don't want to say anything because it's...
Crush Puppets.
Oh, Crush Puppets.
I don't want to say anything because the Secret Service
hard.
might take me down.
Well, I sent it to him.
Did he actually receive it? Or
Well, he hadn't responded. His lawyers haven't got back to me.
well, it wouldn't have got to him then. Anyway,
Wow.
what were you trying to? Sorry, Matt, what were you going to say?
Do you want me to play it? Or?
Yeah, do it. What were you trying to invoke? What's the purpose?
Conversation.
About? Trump the donkey.
I just took snippets out of media posts.
And there's plenty of those, isn't
There's a
there?
lot.
Donald, your day is done. Can you believe the amount of shit that's collecting up on that man at the moment?
He's momentous.
And you know what I think? I think that ultimately it's not going to stop him running for the presidency again next year. And
No.
it's all going to fall by the wayside. That everybody's trying their hardest not to get him. But I just
As long as I can get my song played 1 million times, I'll be happy.
okay.
And hopefully I
Because it's
target-
not about the money, is it? It's not.
No,
it's not. It's got nothing to do with money.
I've never monetized out of it, out of any of my art. But I'm an artist, and I don't expect to. But it's connecting and giving voices where there are no voices. So in the damage is done. The next song up there, you don't have to play it, but
No, that's
you
all
know, that song was about institutional child abuse and George Pell and the role he played in, you know, with victims of sexual abuse and stuff like that. And I just wanted to give a voice to the voiceless, and that's all I'm here to do, to speak up for those that don't have a voice. And so that's the angry me, the Crush Puppets.
Did you do a little golf clap when he died? When he fucking...
I
No?
quickly released that track. Yeah, I did. I did a little skip and a hoot because I was devastated that we let him out and sent him back to Rome, and because there's
to just keep on offending.
there's no recognition for the victims here, and we
No.
need to support people who have been abused in the system that. You know, and we shouldn't be enabling that type of behaviour. So I released it, and I was heading to Sydney for St Mary's Cathedral to do a Violent Femmes and do a busk right outside on the day of his funeral, not to raise awareness for me, but just to help and support the victims that were going to be there. But I had a little bit of intel that it was going to be sanctioned and sectioned off, and there was going to be...
There were protesters there, though, weren't
Yeah,
there?
exactly
So
right.
you weren't part of that, no?
There was going to be no point me going and to do that because
Okay.
I would have been bundled. It would have been a waste of time. My voice wouldn't have been heard.
Do you struggle consciously as a human being when you realise that your voice is never going to be heard in certain circumstances? Like I said to you before, I said, are you a petition guy? You're a petition guy.
Yeah.
You petition stuff.
Yeah.
The difference between me and you is that I realise that there's certain things that I can't control. And I, just hear me out, and this is not a good or a bad thing. I'm not trying to take anything away from what you do, but I understand that there's certain things that I can't control in life. And so why waste energy doing that? Let me focus on stuff that I can control. So from your point of view, we need people like you in society. We need people that are going to stand up and talk for people that don't or can't talk for themselves.
Yeah.
Is that something that you pride yourself in?
Well, it's something I think, you know, historically, artists and musicians have always expressed, you know, what they feel, you know, what they're absorbing. And for me, I do that myself. You know, I can't control what comes out.
Yeah.
I've just got to release it. And it's not always about the anger and the Crush Puppets. The Lost Dogs are about trying to express and be a voice for other.
Well, you're a big animal advocate as well, too, aren't you?
Big what?
Animal advocate.
Yeah.
You love
100%.
animals.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. So, but I like to just, I think we have a role to play as artists to give a platform, and people can see or hear the art and they can agree or disagree. And if you like it, you can have more of it. If you don't like it, you can keep scrolling, or you can just keep walking.
Do you agree that some artists use platforms for other things other than their art. Like if I'm talking about a comedian,
Yeah.
I don't want to go see a comedian and him tell me about his political views
Yeah.
or to try to sell me something. I just want to fucking hear comedy.
Yeah.
It's like with the music. I don't get up there and start ranting on about something.
Yeah.
I've come here, I've paid good money to see you as an artist.
Yeah.
Do you agree that there's a lot more of that happening now than what there ever was? Or is it just
I thought
part
there was less.
it's just part of the industry. It's like like people get to that point that they need to politicize something that is in their life that affects them, and they feel everybody else needs to be a part of
They
that.
probably do. They're very sensitive people, artists. I don't. That's a tough question. I think if you go to a show and you're expecting something and get something else, you probably got a right to be pissed off. But if you know the artist and you're probably going to know if you've bought tickets, kind of where they're going to go. You would have done a bit of research.
Yep. Oh, look, I get that, but it's the same with anything. There's a line, isn't there? You can go up to that line, or you can go across that line, and then it becomes something other than what it was.
Of course, yeah.
But as you say, as an artist, I mean, technically, I'm an artist. Bullshit artist, whatever you want to call me. I think that it's about consideration as to what do I want to consume from what you're selling me. Am I buying what you're selling, or am I just coming here because I bought tickets for something else and this is what I expect to get?
And you're getting something else.
This is what I expect. It's about expectations. The same with a lot of things in life. You can go somewhere for a really nice meal because everybody's recommended it.
Yeah.
And you have a shit meal.
You have a shit meal.
Because
that happens a lot.
You've got this expectation in your head.
Yeah.
And that's what
do you do? What do you do when you have that? You tend to not go back. Who's your favourite comedian?
Oh, look, Tom Segura is probably up there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good comedians out there, a lot of American comedians that look.
I'm still watching Jerry
Seinfeld?
Yeah.
I've
got the whole box set. I watch him on telly.
See, the thing is, I never did Jerry Seinfeld in that era on TV. It was something that I didn't buy into. I saw Jerry in Las Vegas.
Live,
and he did a 2-hour set. He was fucking hilarious.
Was he?
Absolutely amazing. I've always known that he was a great. He's old school. He is old school. So yeah, really Eddie Murphy. I grew up with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy's Delirious. You remember that?
Yeah.
Man, we had that on rewind, and it was just that was part of my group.
That's escapism.
Yeah, yep.
From the real world.
But it's also comedians teach you a lot of things as well too. They teach you a lot of things about observing stuff in life, and that's where a lot of their comedy comes from.
Yeah.
Is they observe stuff, and they make fun out of it, and they make light of it, and they make it normal, and it's not weird. It's funny, and if you look at the funny side, but being
happy and laughter's big thing.
For sure.
We need
mental health. I mean, that's
100%.
probably why I do a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
As you say, it's escapism. Instead of a podcast or listening to music, put some comedy on, man. I want to laugh on the way home. It's going to stop a bit of road rage. Hopefully.
If it's the wrong sort of comedy, it might create a bit.
Well, man, the Poms do comedy completely different to anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
I grew up on 8.5 Hot Mum.
Yep.
And yeah.
Benny Hill.
Love Benny Hill. Inappropriate. We didn't realise how inappropriate it was.
Oh man, he'd go to
I'd
jail
watch it
today.
tomorrow.
He'd go to jail today.
Kenny Everett.
Yeah.
Do you remember Kenny?
Yes, I do. What was the 5? No, it's gone. It's gone. The Goodies.
The Goodies.
The Goodies.
They're great.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And then you've got Monty Python.
Yeah.
Man, that was good, wholesome fun.
Yeah. Faulty Towers.
But now it would just get all fucking cancelled because of these woke. So what do you, as a man your age, and knowing what you know, how do you feel about this movement, this woke movement, to cancel people, and to effectively and effectively what they have done is they've ruined people's careers and lives.
Yeah, I don't,
Where do you sit on it?
I don't.
You
I don't understand. I never understood the word, the woke word. So look, God, it's a hard question. Trying to tell people that they can't do something's hard. I don't know if we really should be doing that, but where do you sit on it?
I think COVID generated this term, and
It came out a lot then, didn't it?
yeah, that was pretty much the rise of wokeness.
Yeah.
And it was this generation of people saying that stuff is not acceptable. I mean, and we're talking about things that have happened in the past. We're going right back to the people that discovered countries in Australia, and they want statues pulled down, and they want to erase history.
Yeah.
They want to, and it's only for self-gratification to think that they're better than what their forefathers were.
Yeah.
So, to me, it seems that they want to be better than the generation before, but they don't understand where they've come from.
Yeah.
You know, and
History is important because we got to learn, we got to grow, we got to acknowledge, we got to move forward because we are creating history today, and and someone's not going to like that shit, what we do.
Well, you want to hope that we're doing things better than our forefathers, but it's everybody's a product of their environment, and different times are different times.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we can't go back and change it. We can't take away what's happened. We have to accept that that's part of our history or part of the history, whether it's your history personally, and it just seems like it's the thing to do to go, I do not accept or tolerate this. And they're using these words when generally a lot of them have never had fucking diversity. They've never had to go out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
They've got their screen in front of their face and it's instant gratification. And it's all about...
I think the screen's a problem in the modern world. There's a lot of too much of it. You see, you go down the street, there's kids and babies on screens, and there's no tactile or sensory stimulation. And I think, the screen's a modern advancement for this humankind, but we got to put it into perspective of when and where it's appropriate to be able to bringing these in, and where our information comes from, to read information and accept what's the truth and what's not the truth from screen. Everyone's a Dr. Google now.
Well, everybody thinks you're a fucking expert on everything because they can instantly...
boom.
Instant gratification.
Crazy.
And even we were talking to our osteo the other day, and there's people, and you would see it with your clients, people with neck and back problems because they're constantly over their screens.
Yeah.
This is a generation of we're creating these hunched over people that are not aware of their surroundings. They're looking within this box that they're in and they're existing in.
Yeah.
But they're quite happy to be there.
Yeah.
They're quite happy to just be in this little world.
That's conditioning.
That's
hours and hours and hours of conditioning for that activity where they need to get out and move around and stimulate and have sensory stimulation other than that.
Yep.
Crazy.
Sport, music, all
food,
this stuff.
Culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
respect.
It's all
There's a big word.
Man.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing that you've bestilled into your child that you can tell us today?
Oh my God. Well, I think respect and compassion and empathy. 3 things.
Yep.
Other than that, he's on his own.
Has it worked so far?
Yeah. He's a good kid.
Good human?
Yeah, he is. He's really good. He's if he goes out and they're having fun, he'll look after them. If he's the guy, he's going to be looking after them and make sure everyone gets home.
Yep.
Everyone's safe,
Is it? Do you mind me asking, is he a big drinker for a young man?
No.
Is he's sporty?
He did a lot of sport, but he's doing a lot more work now, and he's focusing on work so he can save and travel.
Yep.
So look, we always did activities. There was a photo up there of me and him on a mountain bike. He's done Mount Buller. I made him ride down Mount Buller. Yeah, it was a beautiful
We've still
day.
got that to do, Mav. We've got to get that on.
You've got to get down Mount Buller. Just roll down 15 k's, the
Oh, mate,
Delatite River.
That's my best type of ride.
Your hip will love you for that.
All the way down.
Your hip will love it.
All the way down. But
Yeah.
you got to get up to get down. I'm a big proponent of that. So if you jump on a
you
mountain
do.
bike,
Yeah, James Brown said that.
you've got to get up to get down. Exactly.
Yeah, he's a good kid, and we try to release good humans in the world with a bit of empathy and compassion. And
Well, our generation do.
we try to.
I can't speak for the latter,
Yeah.
for the later generations. I mean, I don't have a lot to do with the youth of today, apart from my son. But that's the thing is like, it's I'm a parent. I love my child. I hate everybody else's kids.
Golden boy.
Yeah. Look, you can do whatever you want with your kids. They just don't involve me.
Yeah.
Don't involve them and me. I mean, I'm sure you're doing a stand-up job, and if they do something wrong, I'll tell you about it. But yeah, I'm like that. It's the same with people with dogs. My dog's fucking amazing. Your dog's a piece of shit.
Yeah. What is your
barely
dog?
with it. I got a
Because I'm heavily into dogs too.
yeah. So what sort of dog you own?
I've
dogs?
asked you the question.
Oh, you did too. I've got an English Staffy. So we've got a blue Staffy.
I've got an English Staffy.
Oh, really?
My Staffy's name is Jackson Charles. That's
Oh,
very English.
exactly.
Or J Dog.
Because it's an English Staffy.
Yeah, he's a nutter. He's on the spectrum like me.
Has he still got his nuts? Or did you
No, we
They
took
got those-
them off. But he thinks he has.
He still thinks he's got Or Yoshi, our dog's a female.
He's a blue.
She's,
So she's
yeah,
a
she's
blue.
blue. Yeah.
right.
She's lovely. She's lovely. But only because I beat her.
Yeah. The thing is, I found with Staffies, well, mine is J-Dog, he's a people person. He loves people.
Oh, Staffies in general, they if you bring a dog up correctly and you socialise it right from the point where you should, your dog shouldn't have any issues. Now, I'm not a fucking expert, don't get me wrong, but from my experience, dogs should be brought up around people, babies, kids, whatever.
Yeah.
There is some breeds that are worse than others.
Yeah, and some humans that create that breed.
It's a product of the environment, So, but yeah, Staffies are gorgeous. It's funny because we were deciding what dog to get, and we're walking down the foreshore in St Kilda, and we saw this gorgeous blue Staffy, like a big chunky one with a split head, and we said to the owner, how old's your dog? Blah blah blah, and he goes, they're good, but he just ate the neighbour's cat.
Where was the cat?
What? Well, apparently the cat got into the dog's seat, exactly, and the dog just went bunter on it. But anyway.
So J-Dog has his own cat. He doesn't eat his cat, but I'm sure if one come into his yard,
he would stand up for the other cat.
Exactly. It's territory.
That's just dog. That's what dogs
dog
do.
doing dog business.
Yeah, but people do this. Humans do the same thing.
I know. If
don't
someone
they?
jumped my fence, I'd kill them too.
Are you? So let's break that down, because you're probably the same, from the same mould that I am about protecting yourself and your property. If somebody came into your house, you would have no qualms with physically hurting them or trying to get them out as soon as you could. If somebody broke into, yes?
Brendan, I've got a special set of skills. I'm a cremator. If you jump in my fence and I haven't invited you, you will disappear.
Right. Good to know. That's good to know.
No, I was robbed. I did get. So
home invasion?
Yeah. Well, we weren't.
You
there.
weren't home.
The Monday before, we were home. My young boy was 9. He was sick. And but the following Monday, we were robbed and destroyed. A mess. It was a pigsty. When they got there, it was a pigsty when they left. And I said to the cop, "Fuck, man, I'm not comfortable. What can I do?" And I'd never had a dog in my life. And he said, "Get a dog that's going to grab him and get a bit of DNA and doesn't let go. I said, fuck.
Oh, really? Is that what?
That's what the guy said.
So they can take it, as in like he's going to get a pound
He's
of
going to have
flesh.
to go to the hospital and get this
Yeah.
shit sorted.
Yeah.
I went, all right, okay. He was a good cop. And no worries. So we did the research, and I got a staffy, and that failed because Jackson is a people dog. But
Yeah.
we've never been robbed. Someone's come in with him being there to see if that's happened. So I would hope he stood up and got a little bit of calf muscle for us to track
Yeah.
him. But
You got rid of your toothbrushes though, didn't you?
yeah, first thing you do. Yeah, and my tutu.
Do you know about that, Mav? Do you know we were talking about the toothbrushes? So if you get robbed, the first thing you do is you throw away your toothbrushes, because what burglars like to do is they like to take your toothbrush and stick it up their ass and then put it back.
That sounds like something you do.
No, that's not very nice. Don't know. I'm just trying to educate our listeners. It's like if
Yeah.
you ever get broken into,
Gone, first thing
that
out of the way.
I'm sure there's some other stuff you can get rid of as well too.
So look, I hope Jackson would do the business, and it wouldn't worry me if he did. I think that he's earned his chop that day.
Yeah, yeah. Just that feeling of being violated.
I moved house 4 months later.
You imagine a single mother or just that thought of not wanting to be in that house. I can't imagine
Well,
that.
we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We had to move. Cost me stamp duty and real estate fees.
hell.
Cost me more than what I lost.
Yeah,
Well, we lost a lot actually.
Yeah.
Trust. Well, we got it back now. We got a safe place.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. You're in Frankston, aren't you?
Yeah. 3199.
3199.
Yeah.
It's on the up and up, isn't it?
It's a great place. I love it.
It is. Bayside.
Oh, yeah.
You got some good
Holiday
restaurants.
place.
Yeah,
Great.
good restaurants.
Yeah. Got some good people. That's what I know. It's full of
it's
really good people.
Full of people like you, isn't it?
3-1.
I've got to give you
3-1.
one back.
3-1.
There you go. I've got to give you one back.
No, you've done well.
Got to give you one back. Hey, look, what's the future hold for you, mate?
More collaborations with music. I'm still going to work. I've got a few more years in me in my work, so I don't worry. That takes care of itself. But I'm trying to navigate collaborations with other people. I've got an artist management company that wanted to work with me after the last release here in Australia. America and England's doing really well.
Great.
On the digital platform.
Yep.
With the music, and it'd be good if I could get played here in Australia. So
I saw something. Did you do something with Triple J Unearthed?
yeah,
Yeah?
we're up there. Yeah,
Yep.
we've been up there. Yeah, all three.
Any success or? Well,
Oh,
I mean,
look- look, no.
it's success to get on.
It is.
At
It's
for
been
a
good
start.
to get unearthed 3 times with the 3 artist profiles, and no one's connected that I'm one and the same person.
Is that on purpose or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it is what
It's
it
like
is.
3 alter egos.
Exactly right. Well, yeah.
So
So sorry. I wanted to. It's good to get up there, and that is how the artist management companies and the PR companies have reached out to me through those processes, which is good because they do look. If any other bands are out there, it's always good. You know, you might not be getting played, but they're platforms to get sort of other industry on board. So, and I'm hoping that with this last sort of block of music I've created with Clouty and Madam Nightingale, that we can get a bit more localised sort of support. I don't perform live. I'm purely digital.
Yep.
But the other artists I work with are live performance artists with, Melbourne Fringe or Sydney Fringe or Adelaide music areas. So and they want to perform, and there's platforms for them to put their sort of art out there as well. So if I can help facilitate that, I'll be really happy.
Cool. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody while you're here?
Madam Nightingale,
Yep.
great performance artist, and Clouty Will.
So they're all available on
all
YouTube?
the I guess on all the streaming services.
Okay.
If you want to listen to some of their music, you can.
Spotify?
All those.
Cool.
There's so many out there now. There's
Oh, I
about
know.
1,000. You can
Just Google that shit.
All you have
Yeah.
to do is put it in whatever you get your music from these days.
Yep.
Which is so sad because I still like and buy vinyl, but vinyl's a hard sort of medium to go down now. It's expensive.
Yeah.
If you don't gig like me, I got no outlet to sell. So most bands these days sell their records, CDs at the shows now. That's it.
Yep.
And then they can get more back on their sort of investment, and they can connect with their supporter base a lot more sort of in depth. So, yeah.
Good.
That's great.
Well, the future's bright, isn't it?
Always happy is good. Make people happy.
Man, well, you've made me happy today.
Thank you. You made me happy too.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
I think personally, what I've taken away from today is that I should follow my dreams and learn to play the guitar.
Well, you are following your dreams, doing what you're doing here at Leeward State of Mind, which is a great resource for yourself and the community. But just pick up a harmonica if you're worried about the guitar.
Yeah.
Make a noise.
Start simple.
Make a noise. It doesn't matter what noise it is.
Yeah.
It'll just get a little bit better each time.
Unlike my snoring every night.
Just tape it up.
Hey, look, once again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I really
no.
appreciate your time. I hope you've enjoyed the experience.
That's wonderful.
Yeah?
It's been a great drop of Buckfast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've got
I'm
a bottle.
converted.
I've got a bottle for you on the
Thank
way
you.
out the
I
door.
appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate it. That's a wrap, man.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in and for your time. You know the vibe, I'm steady living until I die. It's a Leeward State of Mind, and we showed you that. Keep it authentic and real, I hope you coming back. Hey, make sure that you subscribe, cause we got it popping all the time, and it's going down. If you wanna elevate, wanna live a better life, keep it locked here. You know it's a Leeward State of Mind, let's go.